All right, good morning, good afternoon, good evening, good night, wherever you are. I hope you're good. I hope you're healthy. I hope you're wealthy. I hope you're safe. Let's go ahead and talk some crypto. Actually, just kidding. Today we're going to talk revenue streams, something I'm guessing a lot of you are as interested in, if not more interested in, than cryptocurrency. Or maybe you're looking at cryptocurrency as a possible form of a revenue stream for yourself. Maybe you're looking at nodes and considering those as a form of revenue stream. But we're going to dive into that today. We're going to take a look at some revenue streams, some ways that you can go and create some passive income, and we're going to see how crypto fits into that. Does crypto make sense for you? But first, let's go ahead and roll that intro. All right, let's go ahead and jump into this. Here we have an Excel spreadsheet that has a pretty good breakdown of some realistic expectations for passive income or revenue streams. Now, let's go ahead and make sure we define what we're talking about with passive income. By passive income, I mean these are not things that you are looking at as a full-time occupation or even really as a part-time occupation. These are your side hustles. These are things that you invest a hopefully small amount of time in every month in order to see some pretty good returns. Now, a lot of this I would say is reasonable expectations for returns based on reasonable expectations of investment. And of course, reasonables in the eye of the beholder. Obviously, for many of you, you're looking at the specifically maybe the rental income there, having a real estate investment of some kind. And that initial investment is maybe outside of your reach here today. And I certainly understand that, but at the same time, this is kind of a realistic expectation of what you should have for a down payment to at least get started in some kind of a rental real estate income. If we're taking a look at this though, let's look at this investment. Let's say you put $65,000 in. This is going to be a down payment. Hopefully, you're going to be in an area, or you're going to be looking to buy in an area that maximizes your potential return on investment. Now, what do I mean by this? Well, first of all, let's be honest and admit that there are some heavily inflated real estate rates, especially where I'm at here in Southern California today. Now, maybe what you need to do is put some money away and look to buy at a different time in the future, or maybe you need to look in some other parts of the country. California, as far as a real estate investment for rental income, isn't exactly the best place to look. You need to do some research. You need to look at places where you're going to be maximizing in that return on your investment. You need to see what the average rental rates are compared to the average cost for a home. And maybe a home's not the way you want to go. Maybe you want to buy a condo. Maybe you want to buy a duplex. Maybe you want to buy a townhome. In either case, if you have, say, $65,000 down as an initial investment, hopefully you'll be able to qualify for something up to maybe $500,000, which today in Southern California is going to get you basically nothing. But in other parts of the country, that is a very good place to start in order to have some kind of a investment that'll actually have a return for you, a good return. Now, normally what we would have here is our low-end return, our high-end return, and our average return. The reality is that this is going to, I wish I'd done that beforehand. The reality is that whether it's the low end, the high end, or the average, this is for real estate investments going to pretty much all be the same. Now, this is going to be kind of your rent. Keep in mind, the majority of this rent is probably going to be going towards paying the mortgage. But as with all real estate investments, as you pay that mortgage down, that is equity that you have in the home. So when you go in to sell it, you get that money back. Unlike, say, an apartment that you might rent, where you are paying a monthly fee, you're not going to get anything back at the end of your rental agreement. But with a home, when you buy it, even if you're not the one living there, when you go to sell it, you're going to have a amount of equity, hopefully. And hopefully the real estate market goes up from when you buy, and so you have an increased amount of equity, an increased equitable return. But in either case, the rental income should hopefully cover all of your costs and then some. Now, the actual return that you're going to be getting as far as cash in your pocket is going to be less than this. But let's say that you can rent, say this $500,000 home or condo for $2,600, $2,700 a month. Here and there where I'm at, we're able to get for what someone was able to purchase, with $65,000 investment down, almost $3,000 a month today. And when you subtract the cost of for instance, a rental servicer, someone that's going to manage it for you, and when you subtract the cost of maybe some of the utilities that you might provide, such as water, you might be left with anywhere from $24 to $26.50 a month. And again, a lot of that's probably been going towards a mortgage. Probably about $2,100 of that would be going towards a mortgage. So your actual cash in pocket is going to be closer to $350. But again, it's the money that's going to that equity that you will someday be able to get back when you sell it. That has to be accounted for. Okay. So at the end of the year, you're looking at about a $32,000 return on this $65,000 investment. Again, most of this is going to be in equity. You're only going to be getting maybe $3,000 to $4,000 in actual cash in your pocket. All right, here's another great example of a fairly easy revenue stream to set up. Dropship. Specifically, I'm putting on here Etsy. And I'm going to go ahead and put a card up, link to a couple of videos, or at least a video that I think is phenomenal. I'm not going to try to tell you how to set up an Etsy or how to set up a dropship thing through Etsy. But assuming you have some creativity, you can use a service like Canva to go ahead and create a design, and you can contract with dropship clothing companies, apparel companies, that will print your design on different types of clothing, and you can sell it all through Etsy. Your initial investment is very minimal in something like this. You're gonna be looking at maybe $200 to get into it. In some cases, the first 30 days, a lot of it will be free. You can set up free accounts, you can get promos, things like that. Definitely look around for sites to set up the promos for whether it's Canva or Etsy. You have to create an Etsy shop and pay for it. But with the return, the reality is that your first, I should talk about this too, your initial time and your monthly time for a rental, and going back here for rental income, buying a piece of real estate. The first 60 days, there's gonna be a lot of time they're going to put into this. Time with real estate agents, time with escrow, time with title, maybe time with contractors to remodel and things like this. But then your monthly time should be pretty minimal, just 2 or 3 hours, maybe a few phone calls, a few emails. Shouldn't be too much. The setting up a dropship with Etsy, again, your initial time to learn how to do Canva, to learn how to create designs, coming up with the designs, setting up your Etsy store, all these things are going to take a lot of time. After which, this one is a little bit more time intensive every month. So for instance, let's say, like right now, 4th of July isn't that far out anymore. And perhaps your apparel store wants to have some 4th of July designs into it, some patriotic designs, maybe some t-shirts that have, hot dogs, hamburgers, and sodas on, or beer on them. Maybe some themes that are red, white, and blue themes. You might want to start creating those designs and selling them on Etsy now. Well, that's time that you're going to invest in that, and you're going to do this for different holiday seasons. You're going to be changing out designs. You're going to be seeing what is selling, what isn't selling. So there is some maintenance that's going to go into this every month, okay? But with that, your first month, don't expect anything grand. You might get a couple of sales if you're lucky. You're not going to be looking at a lot of income. A lot of what actually happens, a lot of the value is going to be going into the dropship company that is creating your design and shipping it for you. Also, a lot of it's going to go back into Etsy, Canva, and other subscription services that you will use in order to do this. But once things get more established, you start having quite a few successful designs. And when you're doing this, think about things that you're passionate about. Try to create a clothing or attire that you would buy, that you would pay for. And that will probably do fairly well, because if you're willing to pay for it, someone else probably is too. So once it gets launched, you can start, 6, 8, 10 months out. It really depends on you and your store and how much time and energy you put into it. You can start to expect some higher returns. On average, you can get, easily over $600 a month as an average return on something like this. So again, that works out to almost 7,000-8,000 a year in average returns. That's a pretty nice little return on your investment, nice little side hustle, right? All right, microloans, Kiva, and I'll say this, there are a lot of different places out there that allow you to do microloans. Basically, you can look at someone who has a proposal, they need to have some kind of a short-term loan, something that's going to be fairly small, and with a little bit of money, you can have some pretty good returns on this. Really, it's going to vary, but you know, at the end of the day, you're going to be looking at, for say $2,000 that you're loaning bits and pieces out to different people. You might make, you know, a $100 loan here. You might make a $500 loan there. The interest rates that are paid are going to be higher because it is a micro loan. And they're also very short term. So even though the interest rates are higher, the actual amount paid back is pretty minimal because you're only looking at like 30, 60, 90, maybe 120-day loans. Still, this takes a lot of little micromanaging, of course. So a little bit of time setting up initially, trying to understand the process, starting to figure out what is a good loan and bad loan to make. There might be some losses taken here. And then basically each month you're gonna be looking, you know, spending a little time here and there, just looking to see who needs a loan, what the loan terms are, and what you want to invest in. Crypto mining. First of all, let me talk about this amount here. So this $50,000 amount. So I've got about 24,000. Ooh, my math is off on this. Let's go ahead and fix that. There we go. I got about 24,000 that is wrapped up inside the actual hardware right now. And I've got another 36,000 that's invested into a solar array. So between the two, I'm looking at about $60,000 of total investments into my crypto mining. On the low end return, well, that's right now. I mean, obviously I've eliminated my electrical bill, but at the same time, the payouts right now are pretty small. Ethereum is, all of them are pretty weak. You have a lot of competition, a lot of miners in the market right now. So that's affecting the payouts. And then of course, also the value of Ethereum is fairly low compared to some of the values that we saw last year. I keep waiting for it to kind of bounce up before I actually sell some of the stuff I've been mining off. I haven't sold anything that I've mined since October, November last year. I'm just banking it all and kind of waiting for things to get better. But if I were to sell at today's rates, this is what I would be looking at roughly each month. Obviously last year, looking at when things were quite a bit better, the returns were significantly higher. But if we're looking at, say, the average returns, you're still having a pretty nice average annual return on that. And if you think about it, if you're just looking at just the mining equipment I've invested in, again, about 24,000, I've almost paid, well, I have since paid for my initial investments in all my mining equipment, but basically it's paid for within a year. So whatever you invest in, you can get almost 100% of that back within a 12-month period. At least historically, that's what I was able to do. USDT loans. So USDT is a stable coin. It is but it's also a good coin that you can make loans on. So there are a lot of places, whether it's KuCoin or some of the other brokers and other places out there that allow you to actually loan out your USDT, and they manage it all, and they just pay you basically a percentage of that. And depending on where you go, you can find it. I mean, a lot of it is, 7-8%, but there's also a lot of places that are 12 to 16%. And so if you have, say, $10,000 in USDT, you're looking at an average annual rate of return of around, say, 14% or $1,400 per year. This is, again, another nice revenue stream. And especially this is very hands-off. You make the investment, you go ahead and, basically loan it, and, you just start collecting on it. There are also a lot of other places and a lot of other coins that you can do this with too. like with crypto.com, you can stake some things such as Polkadot. You can stake Crow. I did very well staking Crow last year. Crow is their native token. Excuse me. Crow is the native token for crypto.com, CRO, and I did very well in that last year. Anyways, if we take a look at this, so for a total investment, if we're looking at these different types of revenue streams, these different passive income streams, if you have 137,000 that you invest in this, and again, someone could break this down into percentages. There's a lot of ways to look at this, but when you're looking at the actual percentage return, if you're looking at, say, a 12% return, a 58% return, or a 47% return, that is phenomenal. Keep in mind, on average, like index funds, if you look at Vanguard's VOO fund, VOO, their historical rate of return is about 11% per year. And I love index funds personally. I think that index funds are a great way to get into investing. But using these things, you're already beating index funds on the low end. Keep in mind, this low end, this is including the first month of Etsy with only $22 return. This is including a lower end, well, I mean, none of them are great, but still a low month of micro loans. This is including a low month of micro or crypto mining. This is all the lows. And I'm still able to get to basically a 12% return on this. I'm not really the high is here, but really I'd rather focus more on the average return. So again, if we're looking at the average of these numbers here, you're still getting out to a 47% return annually. That means that if you just take $100,000, you're going to get $47,000 back in profits per year. That is incredible. That is an amazing passive source of income. Now, obviously, if you're looking at this and following along, you're seeing I've got crypto nodes down here listed. As I've talked about on this channel, I have things invested in THOR and STRNGR. And I've got a few other projects that I'm kind of playing with a little bit. But what I'm noticing is with these crypto nodes, right? Let's say I have $6,500 invested between THOR and STRNGR. I'm going to use just right now, ignore this for a minute. I'm going to use just THOR as an example. And I have shown in a previous video, check out the card here, way up there, check out the card. And I did a video on what kind of returns you can expect from THOR nodes if you were to max out, and also some different strategies I'm looking at if I was to max out, to 100 nodes. What is the fastest way to get there? What is the highest return way of getting there? And kind of a mixed strategy as well. And when I'm looking at these things, if we're on the lowest of returns, if we're looking at THOR, right, just THOR nodes, let's say at 100 THOR nodes, and let's say that the price of the THOR token was to drop to only $5 a token. Well, even there, I'm still looking at almost $2,000 a month of income. That would be absolutely incredible. I mean, compared to these other things, to only have, say, $6,500, and it's not even that I've got invested in there, to have $2,000 of monthly income, that would be amazing. Now, again, this is not financial advice. I want to be very clear about that. I'm not telling you to go out and buy THOR node or STRNGR node or to invest in any of these things. I'm just saying from my perspective, what I'm looking at on this is that if I can have, say $6,500 investment in something, if I can get $2,000 back on that per month, whether that's 6 or 8 months down the road, I would absolutely love that. On the high end, how am I getting to this number? Well, basically what I'm doing, and I also want to point out here, this is including the taxes. So if the the THOR token is worth only $5, and we're talking right now, the tax rate is basically a quarter or a third of a THOR per THOR node, THOR coin per THOR node. At a $5 rate, it's basically $300 in tax per month for the 100 THOR nodes. Here, and I know that's a little convoluted, here, if we have 100 Odin nodes, right? and Odin's charge a 1 Thor token tax per month, right? And if we're talking $20 a token, so very high end on what we're talking about today, I think right now we're around $16 a token, but let's say it was up to $20 a token. Well, that's pretty simple math. $20 a token, 100 nodes, each charging 1 token each per month. Well, that's $2,000 in Thor that's being paid out. That's still $22,500 a month. That is stupid money right there. And then finally for average, so basically the way I'm looking at it with this is that I'm taking on a mixed strategy, which again I showed in that card up there. If you watch that video, I can show my mixed strategy, how I'm planning on going through and mixing a combination of Thor and Odin, and also of course 1 Frey and 1 Heimdall to get God mode. But if I'm mixing these, what would my actual, if we were to, I think it's between $10 and $15 a token, what would my average monthly returns be? And so, I mean, that's, I feel like a fairly, I'm predicting for myself that to be a fairly average month return. And if we're comparing, if I'm comparing this to this, and I'm comparing here to here, these crypto nodes are an incredible investment for myself. Also, the initial time. I mean, a lot of these things, there's a lot of time that goes into this. A few hours going into setting up MetaMask accounts, setting up, getting familiarized with the project, doing research. A few hours a month following it, and making sure that I roll things over timely, making sure that fees are paid timely. For me, it's just kind of a no-brainer. I'm very excited about all these node projects. I shouldn't say all these node projects. Let me rephrase that. I'm very excited about a couple of these node projects. I'm very excited too, specifically with Thor, about their upcoming game that's going to be released here in, what is it, about a week now, I think. I was checking out, they had an AMA. I think it was Thursday or Friday afternoon. There was an AMA on their Discord, and I thought they had some really great answers. They had some good questions coming up that they were responding to, and the answers, it gave me a lot of confidence in the direction that this project is going. Again, I'll say it, make sure you do your own research, make sure that whatever investment strategy you are employing, it works for you. Please don't take what I'm doing in my investments as a guide. It's just me kind of bouncing things out there off the community, letting you guys kind of know what I'm doing, what I'm looking at, what my thoughts are. And something else that you'll probably see as you're looking at this is that, I love diversifying. I've said it before, I'm never going to give anyone any kind of specific investment advice. What I will say is the one generic thing that everyone else says: diversify. Don't put all your eggs in one basket. Make sure that you have lots of different, and you can see here, if you're looking at revenue streams, there's some very different things here. None of these are really reliant one on the other. A few of them are kind of linked, like we're talking crypto nodes with USDT and crypto mining. These are loosely related, all part of that cryptocurrency world. But a lot of this stuff is completely unique to itself. And these are things that someone can go ahead and put some time, some energy, and some money into, and hopefully start to get some returns. Anyways, I will go ahead and start to kind of wrap this up here. Again, I encourage everyone, make sure you are diversifying, make sure you're doing your own research. Don't jump into anything half-hearted. Like if you're looking at, if you're considering, say, creating an Etsy store and drop shipping merchandise there, keep in mind, this is not something that's going to work out for you if you only put, 5, 10, 15 hours into it. You're going to put some serious time into it up front, and then it's going to take some maintenance every month in order to actually start to see some returns. And like with so many other projects, it takes time. Like with this YouTube channel of mine here, I know that I'm not going to get a lot of subscribers every day. I know if I'm lucky, I'm going to get a couple a day. And maybe in time that will start to grow, but I'm going to put the time and energy into this. And I'm going to ride it out. If it might take 6 months, it might take 2 or 3 years for me to start to actually see some results from this. But you have to put that time and energy into it. If you aren't willing to do it, don't get involved in it. Don't waste your time. Do something else. Your time would be so much better spent, and your money, going out and doing something else rather than jumping into any one of these things half-heartedly. All right. I hope that helps you. I hope you have a great day. You take care. Be safe. Get healthy. Get wealthy. Have a good one.